Welcome to Tea with Tori. I'm your host, Tori, and today the tea is hot. What's up, spillers? Welcome to another episode of Tea with Tori. I'm your host, Tori, and today I have a very special guest. I have Noelle.
Hello.
Please let them know who you are, including your stage name, which is why I couldn't find you on Instagram for like 3 months.
I'm Noelle Georgie, but I'm a professional wrestler who goes by the mafiosa Valentina Rossi.
You heard it here first. So how did you get into wrestling? I feel like that's not something that like women technically grow up like as little girls. Like, I want to be a wrestler.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy. It kind of fell into my lap because I was a ballerina for 20 years.
Okay.
And ballet, like, just did not agree with me. Like, especially when I was going through puberty and I was getting boobs and I was like, what do I do? Like, these are not what I want. And like, ballet is very particular with like body types and that kind of stuff. And I was like fighting my body from like growing and like going through puberty. And I was like,
Gaining any
sucks.
muscle, anything.
Yeah. So like, even when I got really skinny, like I still had boobs, I was like, this is terrible. And like, I did it for 20 years and I was like, I think this is just like something that I do now because, you know, it's part of my life and like, I'm just used to it. It's like routine. And then I stopped and I started modeling full time, which was like fun. You know, I was modeling in New York, so I was doing a lot of fitness stuff and everyone was like, you need to move to LA. Like, that's where all the fitness stuff is.
Yeah.
I moved here, not where the fitness stuff was. Like, just.
Really?
Yeah, just, I should have stayed in New York if I wanted to model, but like, you know, everything lined up perfectly because like modeling like was not fulfilling enough for me. And I really just like, I missed performing and I loved like the athleticism. And I was getting a little bit of performing with like modeling with like runway, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But just like still wasn't like, you know, fulfilling me.
Doing what you wanted to do.
Yeah, I was like, this isn't like my dream. This is something I should be doing on the side. And I wound up like getting contacted by WWE for this reality show. And it was like kind of like a competition show. And it was like all women. It was kind of like Tough Enough, but like all women. And then like whoever made it to the end got like a contract and like the next like WWE diva. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah. Like, this is so cool. Like, this could be like something really big. And I made it all the way to the end of like the casting process. Mm-hmm. And they just never went through with the show. And I was like, man, like that sucks. Like, I really want, like, that could have been like something cool. And I was like, honestly, like, let me look into it. Like, how do people even like get into this? And they just
do.
Like, yeah, like some people go to wrestling school. Some people get like WWE tryouts without even having any like interest in wrestling. So I was like, let me go online. Like, you can literally just like make a WWE profile and like recruit and, you know, you get contacted or you don't. And I didn't. And I was like, man, like that's a bummer. So I started looking into like stunt work and stuff. I'm sorry, this story's like long.
No, I love it.
And then like I saw on like LA castings, like they're having a tryout for like Wow Women of Wrestling, and I was like, man, like I'm going to that. Like this is a sign. Like, and I had like seen like an energy reader because I was like, I don't know, I'm just feeling kind of like lost. Like, I'm in LA during the prime years of my life. I'm not like doing anything. Like, I feel like I'm just like wasting time. And they were like, something's coming. Like, be patient. And I was like. And I kind of had like the wrestling thing in the back of my mind. I was like, okay. They're like, just keep doing what you're doing, keep hustling. I was like, okay. Literally like a week later, like I saw this casting. I was like, oh my God, I gotta go to this. So I like show up and they're like tell us about yourself, whatever. And I'm like, you know, I'm from Jersey, whatever, Jersey girl, I'm Italian. And they're like, we love it. They were like, come to the like tryout, like because they had like a in-person one that was just like, do you have personality? And then the second one was like, do you have any athletic ability? So from there on, like, it was just, the rest is history. Just like started training from that day forward, and that's how it happened.
So what is the training like? Because you hear stories about people that start wrestling and you hear, okay, it's fake. But then you hear, but I really get hurt. Like, I'm really bruised. Like, we're really throwing our bodies on each other. Although, like, there is a staged part. There is a performance aspect of it. Right. You guys are still athletes and you're still working and doing things.
Yeah, it's crazy because, like, even now, like, I think I'm, like, 30 pounds heavier than I was when I was living in LA.
That
and,
muscle.
like, yeah, because, like, doing that kind of stuff when you're skinny and bony, like, physically hurts. And I, like, looked back on my first match with WoW and I was like, man, like, I was skinny, and I remember, like, my first match, like, afterwards I was like, ow, like, I'm sore, like, that, like, hurt. And, like, now I have, like, some muscle to, like, you know.
To cushion you.
Yeah, and it's just, like, it's, I prefer the word fixed over fake, because, like, you know, the winner is chosen ahead of time. But like,
I like that better too, because it gives more credit to what you guys are doing.
Yeah, and I'm like, no one asks like actors like, oh, when you played that part in that movie, like that was fake, right? And I'm like, can't you just let us like be in the same category?
Could you let us perform?
Yeah, like, you know, like, why do you have to have us tell you? Like,
I think it's because there was a very big point in time where a lot of people didn't know.
Yeah.
And like kids would argue with their parents like, it's real. Yeah. And the parents are like, no, it's not.
Oh my God. But yeah, like the training and everything, like,
it's very real.
It's very tiring on the body, on the mind, honestly. Like in-ring cardio, like I run on the treadmill and it is not the same as like in-ring cardio. Like,
really?
It's just different. Yeah.
What would you say is the like biggest difference between in-ring cardio and the treadmill or with running or whatever?
So even if I do like, so the ring is made out of, like, everyone thinks it's like springs and cushions, but it's literally like wooden planks with like this much padding on it. So I'm like, and it does get kind of bouncy if like you're running with another person. Like, have you ever been on a trampoline and you like double bounce and like your knees out, you're like, what? You have to like kind of learn how to just like run like that all the time. Like, oops, like my knee just buckled. Like it's very confusing. I don't even know how to explain it, but just like, also it's a lot of HIIT training, so like that kind of stuff. And the other thing is, like, especially with my like character, I am just yelling the entire friggin' match. So like, I get out of breath so fast because I'm like, ah, and like, imagine just like running on the treadmill and like screaming.
Now, I used to run on the treadmill and sing because I heard in an article that's what Beyonce did. So I was like, you know what? If Beyonce can do it, that's what I need to fucking do. And I quickly realized, like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, you think you get out of breath just running? Try like using your body in a different way at the same time. Like, it's not a thing.
It's so hard. And I'm like, ugh. And I used to like find little like spots and matches to like pause and just like, you know, find places to breathe. And like tag matches are a little bit better with that kind of stuff, because like you tag out, you're on the apron, like, okay, this is my
Someone
little
else
5
is doing
seconds of breath. Like, she's in there, let me like root for my partner, but like catch my breath. Like,
oh my God. What do you think is the biggest challenge you've had to overcome in female wrestling?
Female wrestlers are not taken as seriously as male wrestlers. I can't tell you how many times like a male will come up to me and be like, wow, you're like really good for a girl. And I'm like,
can I just be really good?
Right. Like, why do you have to throw in that last little like jab? Like, it's like a backhanded compliment. But like, the reality is like women's wrestling is like pretty bad compared to men's wrestling. But it's literally just because like, number one, there's less of us. And number two, like 10, 20 years ago, women in the ring were doing like bikini contests. They weren't having matches.
They were the freaking
so
the card
like,
girls.
Like WWE, like 20 years ago, they were literally like in lingerie, like doing pillow fights. They weren't actually wrestling. So like, it's come a long way. We still have so much work to do though.
No, that's the big thing, is like anytime I talk to a woman that does anything in sports, like the glass ceiling is very apparent.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's one of the only places where it's like okay to be like blatantly obvious about it. Like, oh, like you're good for a girl. Like, you would not say that in like in the office. You'd be like, oh, like, Jen, you really wrote that report really well for a woman. Like, you would never say that. So like the fact that it's still such there's such a climate there for sexism is crazy.
Right.
Because it's so like, you think that guys would want to watch like hot, strong, like powerful women wrestle and not just like pillow fight. And clearly they do, because they're making fun of it and it's changed. Like, things don't change for no reason.
Yeah. And I think there's definitely like certain women who have broken through the glass ceiling, but like as a whole, like we're still not there yet, because, you know, there's wrestling shows that are on for like 2-3 hours a night and one match will be women's matches. And I'm like, come on, like, aren't we like past this now? And that's why like the company I'm out here working for right now, like it's an all women's company. So I'm like, this is freaking awesome. Like, you guys are way ahead of your time, because like you're the only company that's all women. So I mean, hopefully they fucking change history right now, because they're the only one.
That's absolutely wild. So when you moved out to LA and you started modeling, what do you think was the like number one thing for you that you were like, I can't do this. This isn't for me. I got to do something else.
It was a handful of things. LA, am I allowed to curse?
Yeah. Go for it.
I'm like,
fuck.
I've said fuck a few times. I'm like, I can't help when I'm from Jersey.
I actually do cuss a little.
Love that. Yeah, it was just like a handful of things. Number one, LA just like kicked my ass ego wise. Like, not that I ever in a million years thought I was like hot shit, but like I never really did have like that much confidence.
No, I'm from New York, so like East Coast hot's different than like West Coast hot.
Yeah, and I moved out here. I was like, oh my God, like I'm like a 3 out here. Like I am not shit. And like it wasn't even that I ever thought I was. It was just that like hot is so different out here. And like people don't understand that. Now I live in Florida and I'm like, oh my God, these girls ain't shit. Like, well, no, just kidding. Cause I'm definitely like big on like lifting other women and like I'm
but I don't think
those,
you
like,
having
hype girls.
self-confidence and thinking that you're a badass bitch like should deter from any other woman thinking she is. Like you can be like, I'm a fucking badass bitch, like, and that doesn't mean that no one else is a badass bitch.
Right, and there's just way more variety in Florida. Like here, everyone is aiming for the exact same look, and like that really fucked with me because I was like, man, like my titties don't do that. Man, like I don't look like that. Like I have fucking potato chip lips. Like what am I doing? Like trying to model? Like these girls are like.
They literally
sex symbols.
Most like the kind of like archetype that I moved out to LA and I was like, oh wow, that's literally like copy paste. Is like blonde, like around 5'2" to 5'5". It's like the goal height.
Yeah.
You're very skinny, but you have ass and giant titties and giant lips.
Yes.
And a tiny nose.
Yeah.
Tiny nose, and then very high cheekbones and very chiseled jaw.
You just like
it's like
named
the Kardashian.
Everything that's like the opposite of me. I'm like, look at this huge schnoz. Look at these potato chip lips. I have no butt. Like, just like I'm 5'8", 5'9". I don't even know how tall I am. I've been lying about my height for so long now. I don't even know.
Dude, through modeling, acting wanted me to be 5'8", and modeling wanted me to be 5'9.5". So I'm like, who am I today?
Which is it?
Which is it? Which doctor did I go to today? Sometimes I go to doctors, I'm 5'7". Sometimes I go, I'm 5'10". I'm like, what are y'all measuring? Didn't y'all go to school for this?
Like, I know I stretched this morning, but like, does it really make that big of a difference?
But damn, come on.
But yeah, just like the confidence thing was like huge, and especially because when I was signed to Wilhelmina in Philly for a little bit, and they had me in literally every single category, and I was like, I can't be commercial and high fashion because that's just false advertisement. Like
that's also like a huge body difference. Like that was my whole thing, was I never wanted to do high fashion because this is like me working out and eating healthy.
Yeah.
So when I was younger, I even had like worse issues with that, and there was no way I was going to be skinny like that.
Yeah.
There was no way. And people would always ask me, I'm like, listen, the way that I would have to get skinny like that would kill my body. So I'm not interested, like literally. So it's like commercial has always been more forgiving in the fact that they want you to kind of look like real. A normal person and not like a hanger. So I was like always kind of like, okay, like I'd be down for commercial, but then still like,
yeah,
it's still so cookie cutter.
And I would still get like randomly booked for like runway stuff, and I'd be like, why am I here? And just like I didn't fit like either like no category of modeling. And I was like, even the fitness stuff, like I'm flexible as fuck. Like from ballet, I can bend in half. And all these like yoga shoots and stuff, they would never choose the people that actually had yoga skills. They would choose the people that
looked like the yoga body type.
And I was like, man, this is some bullshit. And like just even swimsuit stuff, I was like, I'm not comfortable, and it's like annoying because like my confidence since I've left LA is like through the roof. I didn't even work on it. It kind of just happened, and it wasn't overnight. I like felt the evolution of it, but now I'm like, man, if I had this confidence when I lived in LA, like
definitely have been doing more.
Yeah, like even like I shot for Playboy when I was here, and I thought I was confident about it, but I definitely was not. And I was in lingerie, and I was like, man, and my hair looks frizzy, and I just like was not feeling I think I did like a week-long juice cleanse before I did it.
Oh my God.
So I was like,
so you were
dizzy.
Literally fucking brain dead.
Yeah. And now I'm like, man, like now I have muscles, and like I think wrestling also just kind of helped with my confidence, just because like it's different, and it's so hard to like stand out in LA, or just like even in general, just it's so hard to stand out. And
it's harder in LA though because everyone's trying to stand out.
Right.
Like there's Amy Schumer said it the best, and she was like, LA is terrifying because it's like every pretty Becky from every high school that everyone was like, oh my God, Becky, you're so pretty. You should move to LA. And then Becky does. And then there's 100 Beckys, and they all think that they're the prettiest because they were the prettiest in their little
Yeah.
small town, and they get here and they're like, wait,
Right.
what the fuck?
Yeah. It
can break you.
Yeah,
It
and
can
I'm
really
like,
break you.
Man, like, I wasted the prime years of my life, but now I'm like, you know what? Now I'm 30. Like, it's happening. Like, this is going to be the prime now. Like, 30 is the
30 is a new 20. And I don't know if I keep hearing that because I'm approaching 30 and I'm around a lot of people that are 30 and they're like, 30 is the new 20. I'm like, yeah. Because I definitely
Hopefully.
didn't hear that when I was like 19. No one was like, oh, 10's the new 20.
And I remember when like 13 going on 30 came out, and I was like, 30's old.
So old.
And I was like,
wow.
why does she want to be 30? I was like, I would want to be like 21. And like still part of me is like, man, I wish I was younger. Because like especially like WWE has like a very strict, all of a sudden out of nowhere, they're like, we're not looking at anyone over the age of 25. And I'm like,
What the fuck? Why? That's weird.
I don't know.
That's so weird.
Yeah, they like go through weird like cycles of...
The only thing I can think of is like TikTok and all that stuff is so big for younger people. They're probably trying to like reach a younger audience, but still like...
I think they also want to just like have people that they can mold from the ground up. And if they do take a little bit more time to like develop or like catch on to things, like they have time.
Yeah.
But
why not just get someone really skilled at their age? Like
I'm
I
like,
could see if
man,
you were
I
like
paid
brand new.
thousands to go to wrestling school. Like, come on. But it's
Wait,
okay.
so you actually like there's a whole like wrestling school. Do you have to get certified to be a wrestler?
In some states, you have to get a wrestling license.
Okay.
Which I have not wrestled in any of those states yet, because it's like kind of bullshit. I think it's like $25, and you just have to like.
That's so stupid.
And yeah, I'm like, what is this? But yeah, wrestling school, like some schools are different. You either like pay a buttload of money and go for like 8 to 12 weeks, and they teach you everything you need to know in those 8 to 12 weeks. And most of the time it's just like learning how to protect yourself, because you kind of have to just like assume that like people are out to get you, or like even if they're not, you should just assume that everyone sucks.
Yeah.
So if someone like throws you a certain way and it's like, oh, oops, I'm dumping you on your head, like make sure to tuck your chin, because if not, they're gonna break your neck. So it's like, I know.
I'm sorry, what? See, that's the thing is like I may trust the shit out of myself, but I don't trust other people. So
Yeah.
like to have someone like hold me above their head and like throw me down, I'd be like,
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
And you can kind of like control how you're landing for the most part. So it's like, it is up to me, even with like certain moves, like you're essentially kind of giving them to yourself, because it's a team effort. Like
To get up there even.
Yeah.
You
And
gotta-
that was a big like breakthrough for me, because like with dance, it was a very singular thing. Like ballet, we don't like really touch, like especially if you're in the
Unless
core
you're doing
in the
like
back.
partner work with like a guy.
But like I was
other than
always the
that,
tallest one, so I wasn't doing that.
No.
But
The 5'2" Becky was doing it.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, no one was lifting me.
Nope.
So I'm like, oh, like I'm very independent. Like I don't trust anyone. Like I'm gonna do everything myself. And like wrestling, you like have no choice but to trust the other person.
It's all a big trust fall.
Yeah, exactly.
The whole thing's a big trust fall.
Yeah.
So if there's a young woman out there looking and seeing what she wants to do, why would you tell her that she should do wrestling? Like, what would your
Man.
pitch be? She's like, I'm insecure. I don't know what I want to do. Like, my life's kind of going nowhere. I've like watched you, and like, can you tell me a little bit about like why I would be great, like good for me to do?
It's honestly, this is so weird. Wrestling is like the best anger management for me. If I have any sort of like built up emotion about anything, I like get into the ring, do my stuff, and like get it. Like obviously I'm protecting the other person.
Yeah.
I'm not just like punching them in the face for no reason. But like it is the best feeling, like knowing that like my body can do something like this. Like,
Yeah.
it's just insane to me. And like I get mad at myself, and I'm like, damn, like you really starved yourself for 10 years like doing ballet, and like now
You could have been doing this.
yeah. And I'm like, why didn't I start this sooner? And like it's just it like makes me speechless when I think about it, because I'm like, I just like don't understand how I didn't find this sooner, because like this is literally like the perfect thing for me. So weird.
Well, you might not have known it was the perfect thing for you if you hadn't gone through all the other things that weren't
Yeah.
perfect. The fuck is that? Literally just made me go cross-eyed. Like, what's happening? I don't think that you would have been able to get to this point of like even being confident enough to try this
Yeah.
if you hadn't gotten to the point where you were like, I don't fucking know, man. I'm just going to give it all, like give my all to this.
Yeah, I remember there was like a point when I was like living in LA, and I just for a few months like I was just traveling to get out of LA, and it was like it was the worst. And I was like, I would do anything to not leave my apartment. I remember one time, this is so weird because you were there. Like, by the
way, we met a very long time ago. Everyone met at Arsenic at some point. If you were in LA like 4 years ago, you probably went to Arsenic at some point, and you probably met me smoking weed down at the bottom of it by a tree. I just jogged your memory, didn't I? But okay, continue. I was there.
Yeah, right? Like, I was so shy, and I was so afraid to have like any sort of personality and like talk, because I was like, I just felt like every time I opened my mouth, someone would find me annoying. And I was like, I just feel like I'm bothering everyone by just like existing right now. And like, we went to a potluck at like Tony's house, and Tony's like,
oh my God, I remember that.
Nicest fucking guy
Literally.
ever. And I was having a panic attack before I was leaving. So I was like, I'm going by myself. Like, I literally almost didn't go. Like, I bought like 2 pizzas from Whole Foods, 1 vegan, 1 regular. And like, I bought some like Italian cake and champagne, all this stuff. And I was like prepared for this potluck. And I was like excited about it until like it was time for me to leave. And I was like actually panicking. And I remember calling my mom, like, I can't leave. And she was like, what is wrong with you? Like, you were such a like wild child. Like, why are you all of a sudden like this? And I was like, I don't know. And like, I went, and I think I saw you and your sister there, sat on the couch with you guys for like maybe a half hour, 45 minutes, and then you guys left, and I was like, who am I going to talk
now?
to? And you were like, oh, we live like right near you. Do you like want to ride? And I was like, yeah, I want to ride. Like,
Take me home.
I can't be here. And like, I just remember being home and being like, clothes off, under the covers. Like, I just.
Too much personing.
Yeah, like socializing was like terrifying for me. And I'm just like, it's so annoying. Like, why was I like that?
I feel like social settings are such a unique situation because you really have to put who you are and your personality on display, or you're like the quiet person in the corner that's weird. So if you're in a point in your life where you're like not really feeling comfortable in who you are, then having like being in a situation where everyone's looking at you and you have to be yourself, or they're like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Like, and you don't really know who you are. You don't really like who you are per se. You're like, who the fuck should I be today?
Right.
That's stressful enough within itself because you're already trying to be someone else than who you just naturally are.
Yeah.
And it's even more fucked up to feel like the person you naturally are is disliked by people that you want to like you.
Yeah.
But honestly, fuck those people. Like, I always thought you were cool as shit.
Thanks.
I was never annoyed by you. I always literally thought like there were girls obviously that I was annoyed by, because there are people that annoy you. No one's supposed to be friends with everyone.
They're the most important person in the room, and I'm like, okay.
I never think that. And I think that's actually one of the reasons that I wind up like friends with these cool ass people, because I literally go into the room like automatically thinking I am not the coolest person in there, because I know that like all these things like cool, not cool, pretty, not pretty, rich, not rich, these are all relative to whoever the person judging you is.
Right.
So like if you don't think I'm pretty, fuck you, someone else does. Oh, you think I'm annoying? Cool. Someone else will think that my personality is dope as fuck and outgoing. Like, that just means that you're not my friend. You're not the person for me, and that's fine. Yeah. Not everyone's supposed to be friends with everyone. Yeah. Not everyone's supposed to be besties. It's fine to not like people. It's weird when you try to force yourself to like people. Yeah. That's when it gets weird.
Exactly.
And I've been there with like work and different things where you're just like, oh, like I have to be around these people, like, and I want them to like me because I'm around them a lot. But like at the end of the day, like, why do I want them to like me? Yeah. And how much of myself do I have to change so they do like me? And is that worth it?
Yeah. And like, I'm weird as fuck. Like, my boyfriend makes fun of me because like, you know how dogs get the zoomies? Yes. I literally get the zoomies.
That's hilarious.
And like, I'll just lay down and be like, and he's like, is it zoomies time? I was like, it's time. I'm getting the zoomies. And like, he just goes with it. And he's like, and like, that's like his favorite thing about me. He's like how like goofy and weird I am. And I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. Like, but I can't be like that with like everyone. And I'm getting better at it. But like in LA, like I was not like that with a single person. I was just like, my personality was like stripped once I got to LA.
That's
I was
so
like,
fucked.
I like don't know how to be a person.
That's so weird. I feel like I came to LA because I was so tired of like the patterns and like the endless loop I was in New York, that I was like, I'm ready to like change anything. Yeah. Like my life needs to change. I literally told my mom before I moved out to LA, I was like, listen, like, she was like, why do you want to move? Like, your whole family's East Coast. Like, I know that your siblings are moving because like you want to move and y'all are in a band. I'm like, listen, if I stay in New York, I'm going to die. Yeah. And like, this is not even me being dramatic. I've tried to break cycles that I'm in. I've tried to stop doing the certain things that I know I shouldn't be doing, and I still wind up back in them. I need a change of scenery. I'm too like stuck. Like the way I think about it is like, oh, like a waterfall. If the water keeps going over a spot, it's just the easier spot. That's where the water's going to go. Like even if it tries to go around a different way, like the water will still wind up concentrated there. Right. So I was just like, everything I'm trying to do to break these habits and these patterns. I was clubbing like 6 nights a week, like because I was working at a restaurant 6 nights a week. I'd get out of work at 12 a.m. I go to the club. Because then I get a free Uber home from whatever club promoter. Yeah. So it's like, okay, if I go out to the club for a little bit, have a little fun, then I get a free Uber home. Then all my friends are there because I'm out 6 nights a week and I'm not going quickly home. I'm not home till 4 a.m. Right. And it's just like, that was not my intention when I left my house that day. So I need to change something. And me coming here and having no friends and being such like a social person really made me like focus on myself and be introspective of like, why do you need to be surrounded by shit all the time? Like, why? And then COVID really fucked me up with that of like, not only can you like not see people, but it's also like you shouldn't see people. Like actually don't see anyone because they could kill you. Right. So I like literally didn't leave my room. And I just did a whole bunch of shrooms in my room and hung out with my dog. And that's all I did. And we were here. So like I had my brother, my sister, and my best friend. Like it was a great experience, but it very much broke me of that habit of like needing to be around people. Right. And I realized that I wasn't addicted to like drugs or anything, but I was definitely like addicted to human interaction. Yeah. Even if it was the most like superficial. And that's interesting. That's tiring within itself. Yeah. Because if you have a bunch of superficial friendships, then you're also superficial to them as well. Right. So no one's really there for you. Yeah. And that's like one of the reasons I'm really grateful that I moved out here with my best friend and my siblings, because I just never had to go through that like phase of like, who can I trust? Like, who can I really talk to? Who can I depend on? Like, if I'm like crying, like, who do I call? Like,
also like like during the COVID times, I remember being like, okay, like what thoughts of COVID do like all my friends have, because what if I say something that offends them? Because there was like a very hard line of like, this is all a myth, and then like I need to wear a mask, I can't see you for a few months, and I was like, who do I know? Like, because I was kind of just going with the flow. Like I didn't really like have like a hard like one way or another, because like even my parents, like my dad was like, we gotta wear masks, whatever, because like my grandma's in her 90s and my mom was like, we don't need masks, like this is bullshit. And I was like even my parents are split, so I was like, I don't even know like what I think, because like it was just so new. Also like COVID just like put everything into perspective, like living in LA, because like it like once once life just like stopped and was put on hold, I was like,
why the fuck am I here?
All of these things that are so important to everyone in LA, with like having like, you know, certain designer bags, whatever, and like I love that kind of shit, but like it's not like it should be a reward. It shouldn't.
I feel like there's
your life.
It's like there becomes this time where you move to LA, and if you get caught up in it, you will get very caught up in it. And like, you don't need 6 Fendi bags. Like, why do you need that many bags?
I'm like, can you pay your rent? Like,
no, bitches have 6 Fendi bags, no money in it, daddy's credit card or zaddy's credit card. And literally, literally just like out at the club at someone else's table, someone else paid for dinner, going back to like sleep in a room that has like 7 of them in it. Yeah. Cause they all travel. Like, with the promoters. Right. It's just crazy. And then you see their weird Instagrams, and that's not what's happening. Yeah. On their Instagrams, you're like, wow. Yeah. This is a boss. Like, she's got 7 Fendi bags. Yeah. She must be doing some real shit. And it's like, no, she's doing some real shit.
Yeah. Like, the whole thing was just like, once life stopped, I was like, what's actually important? Mm-hmm. Nothing that
is out here.
Yeah. I was like, everything that LA puts in perspective and like puts focus and importance on is not what's actually important. Like, I was like, I don't know the next time I'm going to be able to see my family. I don't know the next time I'm going to actually be able to like, you know, go outside. Yeah. Like, go to the grocery store. Like, I was just shocked that like that's how thrown into the scene that I like was, even though I didn't think I was. And I was like, this is insane that like this is life out here. And I was like, I gotta get out.
Literally, people were like racking up so much debt based on a lifestyle that was solely for the world to see.
Right.
And then got thrust into a situation where no one was looking.
Right.
No one cared because no one knew if they were going to live.
Right.
And like, that's crazy to think about now and to say right now, like, we really didn't know if we were going to die.
Yeah.
We really didn't. They were saying for a while, like, oh, it's airborne and you don't, like, it could be in the air for 2 weeks if someone sneezes. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
What does that even mean? Like, that means if someone comes to my house and they sneeze and I, like, never go near that area, like, 2 weeks later, I could still get COVID from that area? Like,
right.
That doesn't make
remember,
any sense
like,
to me.
Going to the grocery store, there being a line outside, them making us like wipe down our hands and everything, put on gloves. They kept going back and forth with like, you have to bring your own bags. Oh no, you can't bring anything from like your house. And I was like, this is all so confusing. And
what do you want? What do you want from me?
I'm like, come on. And then like I would come home from the grocery store and like my boyfriend of the time was like staying with me because we were like, should we like quarantine together? Like we've only been dating like 3 months. Like, should we do this? Terrible idea.
I mean, not really, because are you still with him?
No.
Okay, you're a different boyfriend now.
Yes.
I'm like, I mean, it seems pretty good. Like, now he loves your Zoomies. Y'all live together. Like, this is a great story.
No,
what do you mean?
My boyfriend and I now have been together for 1.5 years, and I'm obsessed with him.
I just hit 1.5 years, and I'm obsessed with him.
I like,
yay!
I know. I stalk you on Instagram all the time. You guys are cute as fuck. Like,
Thank you.
So cute. I'm like, babe, why can't we take pictures like this? And he's like, babe, we don't ever like do anything, like, because he's also a wrestler.
Oh
so
my
any
God,
like
so y'all are
free
always
time,
busy.
yeah, every like free time we have, we're like, let's like lay on the couch and watch like Harry Potter or The Sopranos.
My body
like,
hurts.
okay.
Should we Theragun each other?
Yes. Oh my God.
Dude, that's what I'm getting. Like, okay, so my boyfriend is very unique in the fact that like he's heavily into training, but also heavily into like the influencer lifestyle. So we're always balancing like, we need to go to the gym versus like, we need to go to this event. And it's like, we have to do both because both are our job technically. Like, me looking a certain way is my job. Me attending certain things is my job. So it's always like the toss up. I can't imagine if it was just like, I would never go anywhere if that wasn't part of my job.
Yeah. I like it. It's to a point now where like, if I have any free time, which is very rare that I do, but if I do, I just want to like be at home with my boyfriend and my dog. And I'm like,
story of my life.
I don't want to go out. Like, I'm
for
in
why
love now. Like, isn't this the point of like going out, is to like meet people and like fall in love and like spend the rest of your life with this person? Like, isn't this like what you're looking for when you go out? Like, I don't know.
No, that's literally what I say to people when my friends, like, it's always my single friends. It's never really my relationship friends that are inviting me out, because they're actually asking like, where do you want to smoke at our house? Do you want to smoke at like your house? Like, let's just all chill together in the house. But my single friends are like, let's go here. I'm like, correct me if I'm wrong, but while you're out, are you scoping for men?
Right. Like, are you trying to get numbers? Because I'm not.
Because I'm not. Like, I'm down to go out with my single friends if like the single objective is like to just be girls and like fuck men and we're gonna party together. But like, I'm not about to wingman you. I'm not about to go boy trolling with you.
Like, let me just go dance with my friends. That was the other thing about LA life. I was like,
they don't dance out here.
There's no dance floor.
New York,
people just sit at the table and
dude, and they're not even having fun.
Like, what are you
because
doing?
they do this. They do this, bro. I know, yeah, for sure. Oh my God, we should do a shot. And then they put it,
and
then they put it down there.
Yeah, and then they're just like looking at the views, and I'm like, are you here right now?
The views of what?
What's going on?
Oh, hold on. My boyfriend called me. Let me just make sure he's not dead or dying.
Oh, you guys are so fucking cute.
We like, people are like, how do you do long distance? I'm like, dude, think about all those times that people are like, oh my God, like I can't be in a relationship because like I never have time to focus on me. Like that's too much stress. Like that's too much involvement. Imagine if you got a forced week off. Like, it's different when someone's like, I want to take a week off from you versus like they have work for a week. Like, you out here, is he with you?
No.
So it's like, how much do you miss him right now?
This is the longest that we're going to go without seeing each other. It's a little over 2 weeks. And I'm like, oh, I miss you so. Like, we're texting each other every 5 seconds. Like, babe, I miss you so much. And like the time difference, like 3 hours is not a lot. But for some reason, it's
a lot though. He's in New York right now. And when he was in Puerto Rico, Puerto Rico doesn't do time zones.
Yeah.
So when not time zones. They definitely do time zones. They don't do daylight savings.
I was like, oh, I didn't know that.
You're like, yeah.
It's like, wow, you learn something new every day.
They don't do daylight savings. So for a solid part of the year, he's 4 hours ahead of me. So that you don't think is real stressful until like you wake up at 8 a.m. and it's already lunchtime for them. So they're in their day and you can't really talk to them yet. Yeah. And then by the time your day's done, they're knocking out. Yeah. Eyes closing in the bed because my day ends at like, look at it. It's like what time now? It's almost 9. Yeah. It's technically 12 in New York. So by the time I'm done with this, it'll probably be like 11 because I have a guest after this. So that's 3 a.m. almost.
Damn.
So it's like, okay, if you don't make the time because you love someone, you won't have the time at all. Like this morning, I woke up a little bit earlier and I'm about to sound so sappy. We sleep on FaceTime together and I plug my phone in so that it never turns off. So he literally watched me sleep for like 3 hours this morning. And I woke up and I was like trying to talk to him and I was like, why aren't you listening to me? Like, I want to talk. Like, we didn't get to talk much yesterday. And like, I want to talk to you today. And he's like, baby, I literally just watched you sleep for 3 hours. Like, trust me, we're okay. Like,
I was like super butthurt because my last night in Florida, I was like, oh, this is our last night together. My boyfriend's like, no, it's not. Last night was. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, I'm working because we both have a few jobs. And one of the jobs that he works is security at a hospital and it's overnight. And he was like, I'm working security tonight. And I was like, no, I would have snuggled you so much more last night. And he was like, we did snuggle last night. And I was like,
you're like, but not the
like,
same.
I definitely wouldn't have like disconnected when I got a little sweaty. I would have just sucked it up.
And that's the thing is like, we're always on this like eternal honeymoon. Yeah. I'm sure like every time we're together for long periods of time, we're obsessed with each other. But like it's this forced like when we get to see each other again and oh my God, and I'm so excited. And there's like a lot of excitement that probably wouldn't be in just your average relationship just because of the long distance. So to me, it's like if you love someone and it's fucking worth it, you make it work. Yeah. And I've just found like the beauty in having my own time, having alone time. And I'm the type of person that if you are here, like I will live under your armpit. Like I want to be with you all the time. Like I will literally cancel plans to just like sit at home and hang out with you. So it's like good to find the balance of like doing things on my own and like still getting out there and like doing shit and like he's doing shit and like we're doing shit to like build for our future. It's amazing.
Yeah. It's so cute. Isn't being in love awesome?
Dude, being in love is so awesome. And I literally grew up with my parents. They are about to be married for 30 years next year. Oh. And they've been together since they were 20.
Oh, my God.
So growing up, I was like, oh, my God, I'm going to meet my future husband when I'm 20. If I was married to the person that I was dating when I was 20, I probably wouldn't be alive, to be completely honest. But
I'm like mad it took me 30 years to find actual love because I like thought I was in love and like I wasn't like dated someone for like 2-3 months. Oh, I love you. And then like a month later, I'm like, I fucking hate this person. Get out of my life. But like, I still like get butterflies. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm just obsessed with my boyfriend. And he's like a lot younger than me.
No way. How old is he?
He's 7 years younger than me. And like,
look at you, little cougar.
I know. I'm like, am I like a cougar? Like, is this a different? And he's like, shut up. But,
he's like, shut up, Noelle.
It's crazy because like I've never dated someone young. Well, I've dated girls younger than me. I've never dated guys younger than me just because I've always felt like guys like
are less mature than women.
Yeah. So I was like, no. Like even like on dating apps, I would always put like my age and up. I would never even put like a year below. And I remember one time I always said something like, oh, like, would you swipe right on me? And he was like, I wouldn't be in your age range. And I was like,
you're like, fuck you for being so right.
Oops. Yeah. I was like, oopsies.
That's actually hilarious.
Yeah.
So how did you guys meet?
Wrestling school.
And oh my God, that's literally the cutest fucking thing.
It's funny because like we had this little friend group, like we all kind of clicked because we were all from Jersey. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, people just find each other. And because he's also from Jersey. So we were like really good friends and everyone was like, are you guys dating? And we were like, no, what the fuck? Like, can't we just be friends? Like, what is wrong with you guys? And then like we started hanging out. Our friend group kind of like just like started going separate ways because like one kid went to a different school, one kid got hurt, one was just a little shady. And like so we were just hanging out like just him and I together and like I was like, do I have like feelings for this guy? Like, he's so much younger than me. And I was like, no, like there's no way. Like, I promised myself that I was not going to date a wrestler because like that gets messy.
Literally.
And I was like, no way, because like there is like a wrestling term called rats, which is just like girls who sleep around the industry to like work their way up. And I was like, I am not going to be labeled as a rat. Like, even if I'm in a relationship, like I could still be labeled as that. But we dated in private for 6 months before telling anyone. And it got to the point where it was like we had to come out at that point, because like we would go to like Epcot with our friends and I would get stuck on a ride with like another guy. And I was like, this is like some cute little romantic shit. And like, I can't even hold your hand in front of, and then we told our friends and they were like, okay.
Literally.
They were like, all right, like we figured.
I feel like it's the same with like my career as well, though, because it's very much like you don't want to post anyone on Instagram to be like that person that always posts someone and then 3 months later like all the pictures are gone.
Right.
So it's like he was very on top of like posting me immediately, and that was one of my things. I was like, oh, like you, because that's like not a thing guys do. Like girls are very quick to like, but guys like do not do that. So I was like, oh, like you are okay with like any other girl around like knowing you're talking to someone. That means you're taking me seriously.
Right.
And it's crazy that like something as simple as like posting someone, it shows that, but really in our generation, like you don't post someone unless you're serious about them. Like you don't do that. You don't promote them to everyone that knows you. You have all your friends and family on social media.
Like that was a thing with my boyfriend and I, because he was like, are you like embarrassed of me? Like, what's the deal? Why are you not posting me on your feed? And I was like, babe, like we don't take pictures together. Like looking in the photo album, like, because I'd have like a photo album of like just us on my phone, and like,
you have to. I literally have a highlight reel.
Yeah, like every single picture is just like a selfie of like my dog sleeping on me, my boyfriend sleeping on me, and me being like, but like we don't
love
like,
this.
Yeah, we don't like take like, you know, oh, take this picture of us, like we're cute. Like we don't go out or like do anything. So I'm like, what do you want me to post? Like a selfie? Like I don't. And then like finally for my birthday, like we took some cute pictures. So I like posted them on my feed, and he thought it was like the biggest deal. And he was like, is it like a business thing? Like, is it like a fantasy thing so that your fans like think that you're single? And I'm like, babe, it literally has nothing to do with that.
Like I literally don't give a fuck about that. No, I had to talk to my boyfriend about that, because that's one of the things about long distance is like when we're together, we're not like, okay, let's dress up for this photo. Like, that's not what happens. So he was like, oh, like I'm actually not on your feed a lot. Well, like this was like a few months ago or something. I was like, baby, like you don't understand. Like I have so many brand deals. Right. Like I have to post so much. Good for you, though. Like I literally have to post so much to be able to be doing the shit that I'm doing. So like you can be in them with me, but you're not here as much as like I'm producing content. I usually take the time that we're separate to work really hard and produce my content so I can just be with you and chill. So we've gotten like a lot better at like doing things that are still chilling, but like getting that content, because at the end of the day, that's both of our brands. Right. And it's crazy that that's even like a thing. Yeah. Like that's an actual thing. Yeah. That's wild.
I know, it wasn't like 10 years ago. Now it's like, oh, can I post? When is it too soon to post? Like, and then the other thing, if it's too soon, it's like, whoa, she's a clinger.
Literally.
Like, chill.
Literally. And then I feel like 10 years ago, it was like, when do I introduce them to my family? But that's kind of like when you post someone and you say like, my girl, like everyone knows the fucking post where it's some heart or something, and it's like, oh, that's a relationship. You basically introduce them to your family, because then your family clicks and then they stalk. So it's like that's kind of the same thing. Right. Going public is like all my family and friends are collected in this one spot, and I'm gonna tell them that I'm with you. Right. So act right. Get it together. Right. So you guys are both from Jersey. Do you guys do like family shit together, like when you go home?
Yeah, for the most part. Like the last time we went home together, I like, this is gonna sound so corny, I had a signing. Like I hate saying that because it's like I'm nobody. Like I'm not like,
well, you're not nobody if you have people that are asking for your signature and you have a signing.
I was like, I don't understand like why I'm here. Like I'm not like, I haven't like done much in the wrestling industry yet for people to be like, oh my god, but like I'm just a girl in wrestling, so guys are like, girl. Yeah. Like wrestling fans are fucking weird. I'm just gonna say that. But like
I'm gonna start there.
Yeah, like the weirdest people. And like it's fine, like because wrestling is fucking weird.
I'm like, it's perfect though. You said you're weird as fuck. Yeah. The fans are weird. Wrestling's weird. You found your perfect spot, literally.
It's literally perfect. But like the last time we went home, like we drove because it was just I have a Prius, so it was cheaper. Like the guy was going to pay for my flight, and I was like, just pay for my gas, so then my boyfriend doesn't have to buy a flight.
Literally.
And like it was easier with my dog, and then I had my car when I was in Jersey, and like so we were doing like things together. We'd be like conscious of each other's schedules, because I'd be like, oh well, like you're going to your brother's Eagle Scout thing, because his brother like graduated Eagle Scouts. I was like, so you go here, I'll drop you off here, and then I'll go to Palm Sunday with my family, because like Palm Sunday is like bigger than Easter in Italian families for some reason. I don't understand why, but I was very like, it was mandatory. I had to be at church and Palm Sunday with my family, and he was with his family on that Sunday, and I was like, man, like I really wish you were with me. And he was like, babe, we live together, like
we're always together.
Yeah, like I have to see my family too. And I was like, I know, but we try to like coordinate, and sometimes it doesn't wind up working out.
So me and Deekat started dating like right before Thanksgiving. Okay. So luckily last May my parents moved out to LA, so we didn't have to like.
They're here now.
They're here now.
Oh.
They're about to hit a year. I'm so proud of them. They live like 6 minutes from me. It's crazy.
Oh my god, I love that.
So the first year we did
Sherry
our separate
Derek.
thing.
I'm not a stalker.
Mondays with Sherry and Derek. My mom's episode comes out this week. It's crazy.
Really?
Literally. Mother's Day episode.
Oh, cute.
I'm excited. But the first Thanksgiving we did separate because it was like new relationship. Yeah. But Christmas was like a month in. So it was really like that. I have to go home and see like my East Coast family because that's when you have to go home.
Right.
Like that's it. I have to buy whatever that ticket is, whatever that price is, whatever work like isn't.
You can't miss Christmas. Like.
I've even flown in like landed at like 10 p.m. Christmas Eve. Like you can't miss Christmas in my family, especially like my grandparents are getting older. Like I don't see them other than that unless I like go back to the East Coast, which is so rare that I'm going northeast. Like usually I'm going southeast to go somewhere else.
Right.
But this most recent year was amazing because my parents were out here as well, and we did everything at his parents' house. So Christmas this year is supposed to be out here as well. I'm hoping Thanksgiving remains out here too because families are just weird. But we've found a really good way to like integrate our families, and I think it's because both of our families are like very involved in our lives. Yeah. And like want to be and live out here. So it's just like everything together. Like why not combine it?
That's so nice.
That's like, I'm scared for when people and like, because I have a brother and sister, so people are gonna want to start branching off and doing things. So we've managed to stay together and actually spend holidays together. And like even if we have significant others like that, if they need to spend it, like the first time he needed to spend it with his family, Christmas, obviously, like I'm a new girlfriend, I'm not about to take you away from your family to the East Coast on Christmas, but he like saw his family Christmas Day and then literally flew out the next day to come see me and meet my family and everything on the East Coast. So it's like you always find that balance again.
Yeah, it's funny because like we started dating I think December 1st, and that was like our date, and we were still like kind of trying to figure things out. And my birthday's 3 days before Christmas, and his birthday is the day before mine.
So you're a Capricorn?
Yes.
Okay.
And he's not, because I'm the first day Capricorn.
Literally, I'm like, and he's a Sagittarius.
Yeah,
he's my sign.
Yeah. So what's your birthday again?
November 27th.
Okay.
He asked me out 2 days before my birthday.
Oh, cute.
So I'm like, I got into a relationship literally 5 days before you. That's crazy. The timeline.
But it was like funny because we were like still trying to figure things out. Like we were hanging out and stuff, but like we didn't have our official like first date yet. So he was like, because the reason for that being was that like he knew that I was like on dating apps, like trying to just like meet people because I had like just moved to Florida, and he was like, we kissed, and he was like, okay, but you're not gonna like go back on these dating apps, right? Because I know, because we're friends, because we talk about this all the time, all these dates you're going on with these fucking people, and I'm like, I'll delete them right now, like
literally.
Oh, okay. And like I just went with it. I was like, okay, like I was down for it. And like we had our first date in New Jersey because he drove from North Jersey to South Jersey to come take me out for my birthday. And my mom was like, where are you going? Because I didn't tell her yet. I was like, we've been dating 3 weeks. Like, literally. What the fuck? And she was just like, who is it? And she had met him. She like flew out to Florida to like
under the pretense of a friend though.
Yeah. And it was weird because she already met him. I was like, Mom, I'm like going out with this guy. And she's like, well, who is it? And I was like, it's John. And she was like, John. And I was like, the one that you told me like that I was like, because he was like, he said something to her like, I'm gonna win over your daughter. And she was like, good luck.
Because she knew you don't date people younger than you. So she's like, yeah, okay, you're cute.
Exactly. She was like, yeah, okay. Like, she doesn't date younger. And, like, she just knew that I wasn't trying to date at all at that time.
Yeah.
So I was like, and she was like, what? So very weird, because, like, then it was forced to, like, see the families and stuff. But we'd only been dating, like, 3 weeks. So I was like,
literally
like,
same.
Don't want to, like, meet your family yet. But, like, it's, like, rude if I don't. So I was like,
that's the thing is, like, when you're in a new relationship, if you get into a relationship right before the holidays, it is a crash course in dating, because it says something if you don't meet the family, and it says something if you do.
Right.
Like, it's very intense. And I've on the same timeline, like 3 weeks before, it was very intense. I'm like, so is someone I'm still getting to know that I'm also introducing you to.
But, like, what vibe do you guys feel out? Because there's been times where I, like, introduce someone to my family and
they're
then I
like,
tell them. Well, they don't tell me. I'll, like, break out and be like, oh, me and so-and-so broke up. And they're like,
thank
oh,
God.
Good. Like, he this, and this. And I was like, well, why didn't you tell me that when we were together? And they're like, well, we didn't want to, like, tell you because you liked him. You seemed to. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Literally.
Like, come on. Like, just tell me, like, right away so that I can see it too.
That's how I am. That's why I'm very quick to introduce you to my family if I'm thinking about dating you, because first of all, I'm very close with my family. I still live, my brother lives in the house in the back. Like, my parents literally were here when you got here. They just went home. They live 6 minutes away. Like, if my family doesn't like you, it's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
A serious problem. And I've done that before in relationships where I'm like, love will conquer all. My family hates him, but it's fine. But at the end of the day, I'm like, why does your family hate him? Oh, because he's a piece of shit.
Right.
And he's treating you like shit. So, like, why should you even like him?
Right.
Light bulb moment for self-esteem. But yeah, I feel like we talked about it a little bit, but do you have any last comments or thoughts about the glass ceiling?
No, I think just the thing about, just women in general in wrestling, like, certain people have broken through it, but, like, as a collaborative women's wrestling, like, we still got a long ass way to go.
For sure. 100%. Well, thank you so much for coming here today.
Of course.
I'm so happy you were on the West Coast. I had to make it happen before I left again, too. So please, one last time, let everyone know where they can find you online, who you are. Give us a little wrestling, a little persona.
Okay. All right. Well, you can find me on Instagram at mafiosa.valentina, and Twitter, which, like, I don't really use that much, but I have to because wrestlers love Twitter, is Mafiosa Rossi. Okay.
Oh, hell yeah. And as per usual, I am Tori212 Green on all platforms. Tea with Tori podcast on Instagram. And I will see you spillers next week. Bye. Next Wednesday, by the way. I didn't even say that.